This video is about the fascinating history of Japan and the development of its society over millennia. I will explain how the first settlers colonized the land 30,000 years ago and how Japan evolved through various cultural and political eras into the modern nation of today. About 30,000 years ago, the first humans lived in Japan. They were hunters and gatherers using stone tools. Later, around 14,000 BCE, the Jomon culture emerged, known for clay figurines and cord-marked pottery. These people survived through fishing and hunting. Their remains show a simple yet creative way of life. Around 300 BCE, the Yayoi period began with immigrants from Korea and China. They introduced rice cultivation, metal tools, and weaving. Villages grew larger, and early social hierarchies appeared. Pottery and bronze objects were typical. This period laid the foundation for Japan's agriculture. From the 3rd century, the Yamato kingdom arose in central Japan. It was a loose alliance of clans under one ruler. Burial mounds called kofun were built for leaders. The Yamato gradually unified Japan. Their rulers considered themselves divine. In 552 CE, Buddhism arrived in Japan from Korea. It was promoted by nobles like Prince Shotoku, who also wrote a constitution. Buddhism blended with Shinto beliefs. Temples like Horyuji were constructed. This religion strongly influenced Japanese culture. Starting in 710, the Yamato kingdom made Nara the capital. Japan became more centrally governed following Chinese models. Laws, taxes, and administration were established. Buddhist temples such as Todaiji were built. However, power struggles among nobles weakened Nara. In 794, Kyoto, then Heian-kyo, became the new capital. The Heian period was a golden age for art and literature. Nobles like the Fujiwara clan held great power. Works like the Tale of Genji were created, yet the central government's influence declined. In the 12th century, warriors called samurai took power. The Minamoto clan defeated the Taira in 1185 and founded the Kamakura shogunate. Samurai followed Bushido, a code of honor. The shogunate ruled Japan militarily, while the emperor became a symbolic figure. In 1274 and 1281, the Mongols tried to invade Japan. Both times, storms called kamikaze destroyed their fleets. The samurai fought bravely, but the wars were costly. The Kamakura shogunate was weakened. This showed Japan's resilience. In 1336, Ashikaga Takoji founded the Muromachi shogunate in Kyoto. It was a time of civil wars, especially the Onin War, 1467–1477. Samurai lords, called daimyo, fought for land. Despite the chaos, tea ceremonies and no theater flourished. Central power was weak. In the 15th and 16th centuries, Japan was in chaos during the Sengoku period. Daimyo waged wars for power, castles were built, and weapons improved. Leaders like Oda Nobunaga began unifying Japan. It was a time of violence and intrigue. Starting in 1560, Oda Nobunaga began uniting Japan. After his death in 1582, Toyotomi Hideyoshi continued the unification. In 1600, Tokugawa Ieyasu won the Battle of Sekigahara. He founded the Tokugawa shogunate. Japan was finally peacefully united. From 1603, the Tokugawa shogunate ruled from Edo, now Tokyo. Japan was stable with strict control over daimyo. Society was divided into classes: samurai, farmers, artisans, and merchants. Trade grew and cities like Osaka prospered. It was a time of peace. From 1635, Japan closed itself off, Sakoku policy. Foreigners were expelled except for a few Dutch traders in Nagasaki. Christianity was banned and travel restricted. Japan developed a unique culture, yet the outside world changed. In the 18th century, Japan's economy grew. Rice production and crafts increased, and cities like Edo became huge. Merchants grew wealthier despite low status. Samurai often had debts. Society began to transform. In 1853, American Matthew Perry forced Japan to open up. His black ships demonstrated Western military power. In 1854, Japan signed trade treaties with the West. Many Japanese were angry at foreigners. The shogunate lost prestige. In 1868, rebels overthrew the Tokugawa shogunate. The young Emperor Meiji took power, marking the Meiji Restoration. Japan quickly modernized along Western lines. The samurai class was abolished. Japan aimed to become a world power. During the Meiji period, 1868–1912, Japan built railways, factories, and a modern army. Schools and universities were established, and a constitution introduced in 1889. Japan learned from the West but kept its culture. The economy grew rapidly. Japan became an industrial nation. From 1894 to 1895, Japan fought China over Korea. Japan won and gained Taiwan. The victory showed Japan's new strength. It was seen as an equal power, but it also sparked imperial ambitions. From 1904 to 1905, Japan defeated Russia, a Western great power. Japan gained influence in Manchuria and Korea. It was the first Asian country to defeat Europe. Japan became a major power, but the war's costs were high. In 1910, Japan annexed Korea after years of control. Korea was harshly ruled and its culture suppressed. Many Koreans suffered under occupation. Japan sought to expand its power in Asia. It was a dark chapter in Japanese history. In World War I, 1914–1918, Japan sided with the Allies. It captured German colonies in the Pacific. After the war, Japan gained more influence but was unhappy with Western treatment. Nationalism grew. Japan sought greater power. During the Taisho era, 1912–1926, democracy increased. Political parties and elections gained importance, and men were granted voting rights. But the military and conservatives still held power. Society became more open, but tensions rose. It was a brief democratic phase. In the 1930s, the military took control. Japan occupied Manchuria in 1931 and created the puppet state Manchukuo. Nationalism grew stronger and democracy declined. Japan left the League of Nations. It followed an aggressive path. In 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor and entered World War II. It conquered large parts of Asia, but the USA fought back. In 1945, the US dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Japan surrendered. The war caused millions of deaths and destruction. From 1945 to 1952, the USA occupied Japan. They introduced a democratic constitution that reduced the emperor's power. Land reforms and women's suffrage followed. Japan was demilitarized. It was a time of rebuilding. From the 1950s, Japan's economy grew rapidly. Companies like Toyota and Sony became world famous. Japan produced cars, electronics, and ships. Living standards improved and cities modernized. It became the world's second-largest economy. In 1964, Japan hosted the Olympic Games in Tokyo. It showed the world Japan's recovery. New high-speed trains like the Shinkansen were introduced. The Games symbolized progress. Japan was a proud nation again. In the 1960s, Japan faced environmental crises due to industrialization. Pollution, such as in Minamata Bay, harmed people. The government enacted stricter laws. Environmental awareness grew. Japan learned to balance growth and protection. In the 1980s, Japan experienced a bubble economy. Stock and real estate prices soared. Many invested recklessly, and banks issued risky loans. In 1991, the bubble burst. It led to a long economic crisis. Today, Japan struggles with an aging population and economic stagnation. Natural disasters like the 2011 Tohoku earthquake caused great damage. Yet Japan's culture, from anime to sushi, influences the world. Technology remains a strength. Japan seeks its path into the future.